Alright, so I'm sitting down with Bub from Injuku, the chief racing engineer of the S15, and I've been getting an overwhelming amount of comments, as I know you've been getting questions. Are we going to meet the May 5th deadline with the S15?
Absolutely not.
So, I got here and I took a look at the car, and it's still not a car. And I think that we should, like, I've highlighted this in videos before, but I feel like hearing an explanation from you, like really explaining the situation and kind of why we're at where we're at, will do a lot better good than me just saying over and over again that there's more important stuff going on.
What I do with our race program is I design everything. I build 90% of the cars. It's a lot of work for just me. And the other guys here do production line stuff and manufacturing. So I get help when I absolutely need it. When it comes to your car, it's a sponsor type thing. It's not that we don't want to do it or anything. It's a, when we have time to work on it, we work on it. And this season has been probably my hardest in getting meeting deadlines. We've had so many just drawbacks between not getting product when we need it, having things come up like Kevin's motor seizing on the dyno the week we were supposed to leave for Long Beach.
If you're not familiar with it, Kevin Lawrence is Injuku's sponsored driver that won Pro 2 and FD last year and is competing in Pro 1 this year. So all the resources are getting poured into Kevin to make sure that he's able to compete, and like, of course his car is going to take priority over mine, and that's what I've been trying to explain. This is, like, to me, just a fun, cool, like, crazy car. There's no need, like, dogtail. Why would that ever take precedence over Kevin's car? And like, I understand that, and that's something that we knew from the beginning, and like, I think that I just kind of, people are used to such an unrealistic timeline because we like to do like overnight engine swaps and stuff that just doesn't make sense. And in theory, yes, we probably could have built the S15 in my garage to a similar scale of my S13, but in the end of the day, like, that's nothing special. That's just kind of half-assing, for lack of a better word, another build. And I really wanted this to be above and beyond, and that's what we're working towards.
Right, the perfect long hours, you know, a perfect build. You know, it's not rush it, think it through, don't throw in just bolt-in parts, you know, custom everything if we can.
So to give people like a perspective, let's say you were the only person working on this car and you worked like an average hours every day, so like a 9 to 5. If you worked every single day on that car from start to finish, how many months?
By myself. 9.
No help from anyone else?
Yeah.
To the scale that we're building that car?
Yeah, you're looking at 9 months to a year. It really just, there's a lot of detail work. I mean, what a lot of people see on the internet is 1 hour episodes that people have squeezed a month's worth of work into. It's really diluted the aspects of how things get done. We are 3 weeks into the cage build, and there's not a lot there. I mean, it's door bars and the 4 points. It takes time. If you want it right, you want it perfect, you want it to fit as well as you can, you got to spend the time in the details. Otherwise, it's a cage that sits 2 to 3 inches inside from the body, and it's general fitment. I mean, we can easily throw one of Injuku's ER spec formula drift cages, and I mean, I could do one of those in 4 or 5 days, you know, full weld job, and it's just not gonna meet up to the specifications of what we're doing with your car. It's a full custom. I mean, I can't really think of anything that's not really custom on the car. So it takes time.
And kind of funny because it's what we were exactly talking about. We're gonna cram those 3 weeks of footage into probably 1 minute worth of footage.
Yeah.
That'll be overlaid in this video while we're gonna walk outside and we'll kind of go over the car and show you guys some stuff and talk about some details. And conveniently enough, Andrew, the media guy at Enjuku, has been recording footage throughout the course of the build, so I am still able to share with you some of the detail shots and kind of like show you guys what has been going on. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, as things kind of progress and once a lot of the fabrication is out of the way, things will start to appear to the outside world that it's moving a lot faster, because we'll be like bolting things on and it'll start to look like a car.
Yeah.
And then I can help because it's not welding.
For sure, yeah. It's, I mean, I've always said it and everyone's kind of laughed. When I build these cars, I mean, up to the last couple of weeks, it looks like the car hasn't done anything because you're building brackets. And it's the one part of building cars that I hate, is making brackets, but you got to have a bracket for mounts on everything that you do. Everything's got to be mounted somewhere, and just poking holes through body panels, you know, throwing a general bolt in there, it's just sloppy type of work. You want something, you want it to be all fixed in there.
You don't like brackets either, do you?
In the last month, it will move very quickly because it's just assembly. It's already been put together. That every part's been fitted, and it'll go super quick, and it looks
like a car.
Yeah, it looks
like a car.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about timeline now, since it seems like an appropriate time rather than talking about it at the end. Basically, given the amount of work that's left to do with the car, it kind of lines us right up with SEMA. So what we're kind of hoping for is it would be really cool to be able to debut the car, if you will, at SEMA of this year. Don't know necessarily which booth. There's obviously a few companies that I'm close with that would probably be happy to reveal the S15 at their booth. But to give you guys an idea, I think that that's a very realistic and achievable timeline.
For sure.
May 5th, that's coming up pretty close.
Yeah, that's...
we might be able to turn it into a roller by then.
Maybe. Yeah, probably not, because we'd have to order parts for the suspension, so...
True.
We put it into a dragger.
True.
We can drag it around the shop.
So anyway, our goal is to not just bring the car to S15 and display it with just like stuff sitting there and pretend that it's an actual car like a lot of the cars at SEMA. The idea is to hopefully have it like running and performing to maybe do some drifting while the car's out there. So I think we should make a promise that car will drive into SEMA.
It will drive.
We are not going to push it into SEMA.
Nope,
we're not going to tow it into SEMA.
I hate pushing cars, so
yeah.
It's driving in for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to leak oil all over the red carpet, and you know what? It's okay, because it's still an S chassis.
No leaks. No leaks.
It's going to leak. If it's my car, it's going to leak.
Maybe a little bit.
It's going to be leaking coffee out of the driver's seat because I'll be drinking coffee in it, pretending that it's a real car.
No cup holders.
Oh, that'd be cool. Should we do cup holders? All right, moving the timeline back. Alright, so we're now in the shop and Bub is going to walk us through a little bit of the details on the cage that you guys have been making for the S15.
So it's a full custom cage. Everything is TIG welded. It's based on the same design as Kevin's car. We've updated the design a little bit, so it's going to be a little tighter, a lot more bars just to make it stronger, stiffen up the cage. Kind of the other things that we've done a full wrap of the rear strut bars. FD allows you to have 100 square inches per attachment point of the cage, and because we're going to have 3 different attachment points in the rear, that allows us to pretty much just wrap the whole strut tower.
And just so you guys know, we're going to be probably referencing the fact that it's for FD rules quite a bit with this car. It would be incredibly stupid to build a car of this caliber and not to abide by FD rules. God forbid I or anyone ever wants to use this car for anything FD related. You'd have to essentially build a whole new car if you like did something wrong with the cage or something like that.
Yeah, Nick Hogan can tell you about that.
Did that happen to him?
Oh yes, he had to build his car a couple times, and I don't think it ever actually passed tech.
Oh boy.
So.
All right, so while we're in here, it looks like you've got the pedal set mocked up. What he was telling me was pretty cool about these. The masters are actually underneath the pedal set instead of above, so they're a little bit easier to access. I think you said we're gonna do remote mounted reservoirs.
Yeah, well, I haven't decided whether it's going to be inside the car or outside the car. We'll have to kind of play around with how things fit, how easily it's accessible. But it's just, I've used other pedal sets in the past, and any adjustments or any serviceability is just a real pain in the ass, if I can say that.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
We can use the A word.
A word?
Yeah. You also did some cool little like custom stuff with the steering column. The purpose of that, you said, was mainly just to get rid of the rubber boot?
Yeah, the OEM has several attachment points. They have it on the firewall. They have one here at the front of this, and it has a turnbuckle in it so that you can actually adjust the steering column up and down. And I'm a fan of adjustability, so we can actually still use the OEM adjustment of up and down on the steering column. So it either makes it easier for you to get in and out of the car, or if you're just more comfortable with the steering column down or up.
Or if Nicole wants to drive the S15 in FD Pro 1, she can.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna have sliders on the seat because sliders suck.
No sliders.
Yeah, sliders are terrible. Although, one of the really cool things about the fact that this car is right-hand drive, so this little bar right here is the enemy when it comes to S chassis because it doesn't let you mount a seat very low. Well, would you look at that? On the right side, there is no bar.
Yeah.
Wow. Why is that bar actually there? Does it have to do with, oh, the hump is there because of the exhaust, right?
Both sides actually have that bracket there.
Oh, you cut it out.
Yeah, this side has already come out.
It's just the lack of hump for the exhaust.
Right. The this side doesn't have the hump in it for. I think it's actually exactly where the catalytic converter sits. So the right-hand drive just gives you more room for the drivers. On the other side, you're stuck with your head in the ceiling.
Also, if you guys remember, I have that sweet Sleeper Designs intake manifold. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm not going to run a brake booster anyway with this pedal set. I was going to say now we don't have to worry about clearance issues with the brake booster in the engine bay.
This is true.
But
with that pedal set, it gives you a lot more room in the engine bay for sure.
Is this my steering wheel? Did this come in the S15?
This came with the S15.
It's pretty nice, actually. I feel like it used to look a lot worse. It looks cool now. I kind of like it.
I feel like everyone's had the steering wheel in their S chassis at some point in time. I still have mine hanging up on my garage wall.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it's the type of steering wheel where like you'd expect to see like a NOS button on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've personally never been a fan of them just because I'm always about street cars and I like having door panels, and you can't have door panels with this type of door bars. But again, like you said, for safety purposes and because of the fact that we're gutting the doors anyway, since I'm guessing we're gonna come up with some sort of snap-in or some sort of quick release like window mechanism, we'll address that in the future. But like, this is gonna be so nice to have all this extra space because like in my S13, my bars like literally are right here. So we have an extra almost probably like half a foot of space.
Yeah, there's a good 7 to 8 inches.
Yeah. So anyway, it looks like the cage, I mean, obviously there's more bars to go, but I feel like this whole process right here looks like the most complex, and all these bends and everything.
Yeah. I've fortunately, with being behind, I was allowed to have, or I was given Tommy to help start doing this while I was dealing with Kevin's car, and this is probably a week's worth of work between the two bars. It's very involved. Sometimes it takes you several attempts to get all the shapes and everything exactly how you want it. But he's doing a great job. I think this is these are his first set of NASCAR style door bars. But he's doing good. He's catching me up, and
just to be clear, this isn't the same Tommy. This isn't Dickhead Tommy from the track. This is a different Tommy, and Juku has their own Tommy. Dickhead Tommy doesn't know how to weld like this, so don't think that it's him. I'm not I'm not being mean to him. This is literally the name that you guys gave him, and that's the only reason I'm addressing him as that. In addition to that, there's no more addition. I don't know.
there's words.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. I apologize for the audio. There's obviously a lot of stuff going on in the shop right now, and if you are thinking that I'm shoving the camera way too much in Bub's face, That is why. Otherwise, you will not be able to hear him. So, I know how to speak very loud and obnoxiously because this is what I do every single day, but it's very weird and uncomfortable to do that. So, I understand that, and I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, it gets weird.
It gets very
But
weird.
it's also very loud in here.
Yeah. We don't have too much more to talk about with the car, but we did just get a bunch of boxes in for the car. Bub, quick, box check. Tell me what's in it.
Tilt and pedal assembly, as it says.
Okay.
We've got
Headlights.
OEM headlights. We've got fans for the radiator. We've got the rear sway bar. We've got OEM D32 hubs, upgrade,
Nismo strut brace.
and a Nismo strut brace.
And then this is stuff that we're not going to use because we have a LSD and a cover for a 350Z diff, but we decided we should probably just go quick change with this, which you've been telling me since the start, but I was like, no, street car.
Yeah, race car.
Yeah, so I guess I'll leave you guys with one piece of exciting information because I don't know if I've told you this in the videos or not, but we are going to be doing a sequential gearbox in this car. We'll go into more details when we get it and kind of explain how it works and why we chose to go with that setup. But there's definitely a lot of exciting stuff for the car. If you zoom in way back there, let's just say there's two extremely big boxes that may or may not be aerodynamic pieces for the car.
Very aerodynamic.
Bob, how do you feel about big wings?
Big wings?
I feel like you're the type of guy that either loves them or hates them.
Big wings are good for road racing. Drifting, it's arguable, but I haven't seen any evidence that it's actually useful.
So what I was thinking was, since with drifting the car's going sideways so often and you want the downforce when you're going sideways, that rather than mounting one wing like horizontally, we'll mount two in a V pattern. So when you're at like 45 degrees of angle, you'll have downforce, and like we can even maybe make it a modular wing, so kind of like the Porsches have one that goes up. The wing will actually swing around with the angle of the car to keep the car getting downforce while going sideways.
Now you're just getting weird.
It makes sense though, like don't lie, like it sounds like something that you would see RTR doing on the Mustang because it needs more grip, right?
Sure. I mean, in theory, yeah, it sounds great, but practical.
We are going to do a lot of like, I don't want to say weird, but kind of like stuff that isn't done very often with FD level cars because we have so much time with this, which I'm really excited about. And because the fact that it's going to be at SEMA, we'll be able to kind of like showcase a lot of things that like I'm sure you are going to be very proud of. And
Yeah, for the first time, I've dealt with building higher end harnesses for Kevin's car using mil-spec stuff. So getting to do that again with your car with the whole chassis rather than just an engine harness, I'm excited about doing. You know, and cage work will be a little different, definitely more higher end.
the rest you'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess what's next in the timeline for the S15?
Next, more cage work. There's what's done now is not even half of what's going into it. Once we confirm some more body work stuff, start cutting off the back, start cutting off the front. Yeah,
It's just chassis.
yeah, it's going to be lots of chassis over the next couple months, and then once all the chassis work is done, we'll move into all the more finishing work for the inside and both the engine bay.
So, obviously compared to the 350Z at home that we built in like a week with bolt-on parts, this is a much different animal, and like obviously thank you guys for being patient with this. I know there have been a lot of impatient people that have wanted to hear an update, but these guys have been working harder than you could possibly imagine. So the fact that you guys have gotten anything done on the car, I'm insanely appreciative of. If people want to see updates of the car, just like little stuff, they can probably follow you as well as Njuku.
Yes.
And I will put that stuff on the screen, but until then, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and maybe we'll do another update in like a couple weeks or something once there's enough to talk about and more stuff starts coming in. I mean, we could just like if we wanted to make content, we could bolt up a body kit to it right now and like start fitting stuff, but it's just pointless. It doesn't make sense. we should do stuff in the correct order.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get ahead of yourself and back yourself into a corner where you're just disassembling for the pure fact that you made a mistake and now
Or
you
that
have
you're
to
just-
redo work.
Or that you're just trying to like flex and like show like, hey, look at this new part that I got, even though I can't put it on the car because it's not a car. We could keep rambling forever, but yeah, we'll cut the video off here. So thanks, man, much appreciated, and I will see you guys tomorrow.